Welcome to Bloom, day 2 of 7 as part of your Serotonin challenge. Today's class is all about personal growth. So it's allowing us to cultivate more physicality within our bodies together. I am using a small Pilates ball just to find a deeper connection and engagement throughout class. If you don't have one, you can always just use anything that you can get a bit of feedback from. So you can roll up a towel or use a cushion. And if you don't have anything to hand, as always, props are optional, so you can do the whole class without. So let's start down on our backs. But we'll place the ball just above our ankle joints and then come all the way down onto our back bodies. So you might just want to walk the feet slightly closer in towards you, and we're just finding a nice relaxation position. Arms can come either side of the ribs, so hands just lightly touching there. I want you to close down your eyes and just breathe naturally. And as you inhale, just notice where you naturally send your breath. Is it towards your belly? Maybe it's out into the sides of the ribs. But on your next inhale, I invite you to send breath to those parts of the body that feel a bit more stagnant. So we're trying to activate through that 360 breath. So not only is it forward and back, it's also side to side and top and bottom. So think about your lungs expanding as you inhale and lightly knitting together as you exhale. Let's just go for 2 more breaths here. Really broadening it and expanding in the inhale breath. And let's start to audibly exhale out through the mouth, as if you're blowing out through a straw. We'll go for 1 more breath here. Deepening our inhale and lengthening out through our exhale. We'll just start to bring the hands down. So coming into pelvic tilts, the heel of the hand comes onto the most prominent part of the hip, and then we bring a diamond onto the pubic bone with the index fingers, and then the thumbs just find each other. So as we inhale, we'll start to lightly just rock the pubic bone away from us. And then as we exhale, we draw the pubic bone back towards us and just create a gentle imprint of the lower back. So inhale, increasing the arch of the lumbar spine, and exhale, finding that imprint. You're just finding a bit of movement through the pelvis and the lumbar spine before we truly start to get into our movement today. Let's just go for 2 more. And we just settle in between those 2 points to find our neutral. Hands come down by our sides. Continuing on with this movement pattern, we find our spine curls. So as we exhale, pubic bone comes back towards us, and we slowly peel up, bone by bone, to find our bridge. Once we reach the top of our bridge, we reach the arms up towards the ceiling, fingertips just above shoulders, and then we reverse through the movement. So we melt down through upper back, mid back, lower back releases, and arms drop down by our sides. Adding on breath, exhale to rock the pelvis towards you. Working through our sequential movement as we lift up. Inhale, arms reach just above the shoulders. Exhale to reverse the movement, and inhale, arms come down by our sides. So continuing on like this with our own breath. And just notice those points in the spine that feel a bit more sticky. See if we can really add that sequential movement in Nice. And this time as we come up, we have the option to reach the arms back behind us. So they might just come alongside the ears, or if we have the range in the shoulders, maybe they drop all the way back behind us and they stay there as we find our back bodies onto the mat and arms reach down. Nice. Let's just go for 2 more here. And as the arms reach and lift, just notice what's going on through the spine. So are the ribs starting to flare out slightly as you reach the arms back? And if that's the case for you, just pull back slightly with the movement. It doesn't have to be so big. The arms don't have to make contact with the floor. Nice. Feeling a bit more fluid through the spine now, a bit more mobile. Let's go for 1 more. But this time, arms just reach back up towards the ceiling. Palms can face each other, and we pause for a moment. So energy is through the feet, but through the center of the foot, and we're just tracking the legs, the thigh bones, in line with the hips. So just notice if you're starting to come out on the blade side of the foot. And now we work through our bridge. So we drop the pelvis down, kisses the mat, and we exhale to lift back up towards the ceiling. Nice. Inhale, drop. Exhale, lift. So just waking up through the back body, through the hamstrings, through the glutes. Let's go for 4 more. 3, we stay at the top of our bridge. In 2, last one we hold here. So you can keep the arms up or you can place them down, whatever feels good for you. And then we lift the heels all the way up. So we're right on the ball of the foot. Then we drop the heels down, hips tap back onto the mat and lift. So heels rise, drop, tap and lift. Continue on like this. Really feel the inner thighs working here as well by having the ball there. And it's a great prop to use to just check our alignment. So through the thighs and through the ankle joints. So to keep that ball there, you really have to keep a nice sensation between the ankles and just go straight up in the center of the foot. Nice, let's go for 3. Hamstrings are definitely firing on. 2. Last one. Meeting back at the top, heels lift up and lower down. So we're keeping the pelvis, the hips exactly where they are. Just the heels lift and lower now. Nice, really igniting a deep connection through the hamstrings and the glutes, the inner thighs, and working through the tummy to keep good alignment through the spine. Let's go for 4. Heels stay lifted in 3. In 2. Last one, heels stay lifted. Drop the hips down 2 inches and lift back up to full height. Drop down and lift. Nice, drop and lift. We're here for 8. 7, we meet at the top. Can we lift the heels up a little bit higher? Let's just go 2. Last one, hold for 2 breaths. Inhale through the nose. Can we lift up a little bit higher onto the balls of the feet? Nice, 1 more breath. And drop, heels drop, hands can drop. And then we come all the way onto our back bodies. Nice. Release the ball and just windscreen wipe through the legs for a moment. Just releasing out through the hips and through the inner thighs. I can really feel those. Nice. Then let's place the ball in between the chest and the thighs and just rock and roll along the spine a few times. You really have to keep the knees all the way in to keep a connection on the ball and lift all the way up. So continuing on here, let's just place the ball at the base of the spine. So we're finding a diamond shape with the legs. So the soles of the feet come together and just walk your legs forward so you have a bit more space for your hips. So you wedge the ball behind you and you're almost sitting on it just a touch to truly find your sits bones. So we'll hold on to the outer edges of the thighs and we'll find a tall, long spine. So inhale to prepare. As we exhale, we start to draw the inner seams of the thighs together. We tuck the tail underneath us and we find our C curve. And as we inhale, we come back forward, shoulders above the hips, and find our diamond with the thighs as we inhale. So exhale to come back. Soles of the feet can come down onto the mats. And inhale, maintaining the C curve as we come forward. So really working through the abdominals now. But continuing on with that same movement pattern, with articulating through the spine. So rolling the pelvis under, finding that gorgeous C curve through lumbar spine, through thoracic spine, and then lifting back up tall. Let's just go for 2. Last one, we hold here. So let's slowly release the arms away from the thighs. And we're going to find a little crisscross through the forearms. So the palm comes onto the elbow and then the palm comes underneath the elbow on one side. And we're going to pause here for a moment. So really tuck your tail underneath, increase the tuck of the tail and the pelvis, and then release. So it's a little scoop and tuck and release. Having the ball there is great because you can feel the increase of the tuck as you press back and then gentle release. Nice. And up. If it feels better for you, you can flex through the feet here as well. If you need a little lift. But the inner thighs are lighting up. Nice engagement there. You really feel this through the lower abdominals. Let's go for 3. 2, we start to find a twist. Last one, hold. So we're going to twist up and over towards the right side. Keep the forearms directly opposite the chest and then come back through center. We twist up and over towards the left side, back through center. So finding this nice oblique twist. So really rinsing and twisting through the spine, finding that nice gorgeous crisscross engagement through the abdominals. And center. Let's go for 2 more each side. And we go for a reset. Lifting high onto the sits bones. Nice. Resetting for a moment. So lifting back up. And exhale. Coming back into our C curve. Flexing it through the feet. Let's start to lift the arms up. And then lower back down to shoulder height. So this will depend on how much range you have in your shoulder joints. So maybe they just lift up a few inches, that's absolutely fine. But you'll feel the entire abdominal wall really fire up as you lift the arms up and then lower back to shoulder height. Nice. Let's go for 5, 4, embracing the shakes, 3, 2, last one, keep the arms here, add tiny little high range pulses for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Lifting all the way up. Just hold onto the backs of the thighs and just find a release here. Feels quite nice to come into that diamond shape again just for a moment. Nice. And lifting up. So let's come back to the lower body. You're staying down on the mat. So just roll over your thighs and bring the toes together, but the inner thighs are around a fist width apart. If you need to bring anything underneath your shins for a bit of extra knee support, please feel free. So we're going to come to a high kneel and bring the ball in between the palms. So we're finding a kneeling squat. So we start to hinge the hips back. We almost tap down onto the heels, but then we squeeze through the back body to lift back to our high kneel. Nice, so we draw back with the hips, nice long spine, and then tuck pelvis under to find our kneel. As we do so, we reach the arms up, and then we tap the ball back onto the front of the shins as we come to our high kneel. So working through the lower body again, but really working through the upper body, especially those shoulders and the upper back, to reach the arms alongside the ears. So you want to have a connection into the ball the whole time. Really feel the engagement in between the shoulders and in between the thighs. Let's go for 4, 3. We hold down in 2. Last one, we hold here. So really shift back and then find a circle with the arms. So we're going to bring the ball into one hand. We circle the arms down towards the heels, swap the ball into the second hand and reach the arms overhead. Nice. Imagine the ball is really heavy. So it's adding resistance here. We're keeping the movement as fluid as we can whilst adding that resistance on. So really take up space here. Make your circle as wide and as big as you can. And we go back the opposite way. So we're aiming for about 3 each way, whilst maintaining the hover of the thighs. Lots going on. Up and round. And lift. One more here. Meet with the ball. Back overhead. And we add small little lifts up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming down and just rock your hips from side to side for a moment. So we're ending class with a thigh surprise. It is short and sweet, but it's quite an intense feeling. No, you're not going to be there for long. So the same mechanic, same setup in terms of your kneeling position. Then bring the ball in between your palms. This time, we're aiming to keep the shoulders above the hips. So we tuck the tailbone, just as we did in our C curve, and we find a hover of the hips just above the heels, and we drop down. So it's a scoop, tuck and lift, and release. Scoop, tuck and lift, and release. You're going to feel that engagement into the thighs straight away. Let's go for 5, 4 till we maintain the hover. In 3, 2, last one, hold here. Let's add a little tuck and release for 8, 7 to stillness, 6, 5, almost there, 4, 3, 2, and 1, hold here. Can we reach the arms up? Can you shift your shoulders further back than your hips? Nice. We're here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ooh, rocking down. And let's just find a gentle thigh stretch to finish. So right hand can come back, left arm can scoop up. And just lengthen out through the front of the hips and through the thighs. Gaze either down on towards your fingertips or up towards the ceiling if you'd like a deeper back bend. Inhale. Exhale. And we'll just go on to the second side. We did a lot of hip work. And that thigh surprise at the end. Just need a little quick release. Really nice work. Thank you so much for joining me for day 2. Join Chloe for Soma for day 3, and I really hope you enjoy. I'll see you on the mat soon.